If you've ever seen my EP artwork, you'll know that I'm a master of creativity, just like so many of the blues' greatest musicians. Now, it almost seems kind of weird because the blues is actually the most confined and restricted genre of music there is. Everything follows pretty much the same formula, but within that formula, there's an infinite amount of ways to be creative. So we're going to talk about how one of my personal blues heroes, Keb Mo, can kind of get creative inside of just a regular blues in E. Okay? And what we're going to do is going to sound like this. So this is really just a basic 12-bar in E. I don't want to go over the entire structure of the 12-bar blues. If you don't know how to do that, I'm going to link you to another video that explains that in better detail. But basically, we just have to talk about how we can fill a certain amount of bars with something that's interesting, right? I think a very traditional way, maybe the first way you've ever seen how to play a 12-bar blues in E. Again, the chords that you need are going to be E, A, and B. Specifically E7 maybe, A7, B7 to make it extra bluesy. And at the bare minimum, you can just kind of sit on each one of those chords for the whole count, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to A, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4 to E, 2. I'm just kind of speeding it up. Then 1 of B, 1 of A, and 2 of E, right? So just kind of like statically staying there is really an opportunity to kind of do something creative. And I think Keb Mo does a lot of this in all of his playing. Again, this is the song, it's called Your Love, and he plays it with the cape on the 2nd fret, right? But we're going to talk about an open position. And all it is the way he sees the first 4 bars in E, and then 2 bars in A, 2 bars in E, 1 bar in B, 1 bar of A, and then 2 bars of E, is a little bit different. And he does something that we're going to talk about first, how he does it, and then we're going to talk about how you can kind of like use that same mindset to create your own stuff in the blues, right? So, his 4 bars of E sound like this. Okay, just like that, right? Now, basically what he's doing is he's taking 1 bar, just like that. We're just going, starting on an E. Now I'm playing it fingerstyle. Again, you don't have to play it fingerstyle. You don't necessarily have to do the kind of like Travis picking style, blues picking style to do it this way, but just to conceptually see it, we're playing an E major chord. I'm just picking the low E, the D string, 2nd fret, and the G string, 1st fret. So as far as the strings that I'm picking, it's just an E major chord. And then after you play it the first time, we're going to take these 2 strings, the D and G strings, and go from 2 to 1 to 4 to 2. And then once we get in this shape where it's 2 frets apart like this, we're just going to inch up it 1 fret at a time. So, just like that, okay? Now really, this is just something he's doing in E. When we say in E, it's like this is E's spot, and we have all these 4 bars to do anything in E. We don't have to stay on an E chord the whole time, but this is E's kind of just jurisdiction. So anything we do there, starting on an E or ending on an E, is going to kind of count. And again, after we go through this entire example, I'll do some kind of more out there things. You just make nonsense up, and it's going to sound like it works in the blues. All right? So the way we're doing this is we're kind of walking this shape up to right here. Okay? Again, I'm ending on the 6th fret of the D string and the 4th fret of the G string. By the time I'm here, my pinky's free to grab the 7th fret of the low E string, which is a B, which is a root note, is E, its 5th is B. You kind of get this back and forth vibe just by going from root to its 5th, and root to its 5th. That's kind of like a tenet in kind of fingerstyle. So we're walking it up to its 5th, right? I'm grabbing it with my pinky, and then by that point, my thumb is going to grab the low E string again. So I start off with this kind of chord, where I get the E, D, and G strings, and then I grab the 5th of the chord, the B, with my thumb there. And then after that, I can grab maybe just like an open E or a B, and then my thumb, right? Again, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time to talk about the picking. I kind of want to go over the fretboard visuals of this. But if you're interested in learning more picking stuff, I did a whole fingerstyle class that I'm making on super sale for the next 5 days. So check that out in the link below if you want to do that. Otherwise, we're going to move on to the next bar, okay? We're just going to walk it backwards. So really just coming back the same way that we ended up. So we're going forward from an E. We're starting on an E. And then we just end up where we started, okay? And that's 2 bars of E, a forward and a backwards. Then back. Then repeat it. So that's fulfilled our 4 bars of E in a way that's not just kind of like sitting on an E or kind of doing like a shuffle type thing on an E. We're kind of making our way through into something that's kind of creative but isn't super mind-blowingly hard. Now we're going to go to A, and we need 2 bars of A. So in the same vein, we're going to do something a little bit different, but it's still going to kind of keep the vibe. It's going to sound like this. Okay, so we're starting on like an A chord, A major chord. We're just kind of barring maybe the 2nd fret. We only really need the G and the B strings. We're going to go 2, 1, open. Again, that kind of 1 fret at a time chromatic walk around is the same vibe here. And again, I'm starting out with just the open A string, 2 G and 2 B, which is these 2 fingers. And then that first time I'm grabbing the low A with it, like that. And then I go 2, 1, open, and then 2 and 2 on D and G. Those first 3 are G and B. The last one is D and G. And then if I add the picking pattern to it, I end up getting, so my thumb, just the fingers, then my thumb hitting the low E string, and then my pointer finger's grabbing the G string, and then my thumb jumps down to the D string to kind of get that alternating thing. So each one of those is a bar. I can just fill 2 bars of those up. One thing that he does a lot, he puts a little lick in there a lot, like where instead of just going and waiting for it, he kind of gets that 3rd fret on the A string and then kind of just sneaks that lick in there. And then we go back to that first bar. Now we only need 2 more bars of the E, okay? So we're filling up 4 bars of E with the same kind of chromatic walk forward and back, right? And then we jump to the A. Okay, so that's going to take the first 8 bars. Now we have 1 bar of B. The way that we're going to play it, we're just going to get into like a B bar chord position. Alright, so I'm hitting the root note, 2A, and then with my ring finger, or pinky, however you want to do it, I'm just getting the 4th fret. And I'm going to do the same thing we did on the A where we went back, but now we're going to do it here. Okay, so I'm just really kind of double stopping through this B spot. Again, just because we have a full bar, 4 counts of B, however we play it, we're starting on that B and then just doing something else in this case. Then back to the A, and then back to E's. Okay, so all together we have, like I said, 4 bars of A, 4 bars of E, 2 of A, 2 of E, 1 of B, 1 of A, and then 2 of E to kind of end it. How we do that is how he does it is very creative, just kind of running that chromatic feel. Then to the A, back to E, to the B, A, E. And then after that, he does something awesome, and this is why Keb Mo is my absolute favorite, because in traditional blues, you kind of just stay on that pattern over and over again. I think what makes him a really special artist is he kind of extends it a little bit, and he'll use maybe more musical selections to kind of create just pieces of songs that go back and forth, but it still sounds like his traditional blues. After that, he's going to go to this chord right here. So again, he's going outside of that regular 1-4-5 tradition, and then adding this really cool C sharp, what is it, like a minor 9 chord or something like that, where it's kind of reach, middle finger, 4th fret of the A string, pointer finger, 2nd fret of the D string, ring finger, 4th fret of the G string, pinky, 5th fret, and then eventually you kind of have to cheat your pointer finger. I'm grabbing it just like that if you can't bar it. Again, he plays it with the capo on the 2nd fret, so it's a little bit easier doing it here, but then in open position. There it is. Okay, and then now, having that root and the 5, you can just go from 4A to 4E. And keep the same kind of pulse. To a C7. And then a C7 is just a regular C chord with your pinky finger on the G. And then back to the E. So again, it's those things that just makes him such a great creative blues player, and then kind of adding on to that traditional folk blues 1-4-5, okay? So again, that's just one example of just kind of doing something creative in the key of A, like or E, the E blues, right? So let's do something in the key of A to kind of make the same traditional, make it sound a lot different, right? So we're gonna do blues in A, which is A7, D7, E7, okay? But instead of maybe kind of doing something like finger picking style, or something like, let's do something where we just kind of like establish our 1 count on the root chord, and then just do something else to fill those other bars, right? Something that sounds like this. Okay, so it almost sounds maybe a little more rock and a little less traditional blues, but it's the same idea. It's the exact same thing that he's doing. It's just 4 bars of A, 2 of D, 2 of A, 1 of E, 1 of D, and 2 of A. So again, we're establishing that we're in A. And then all I'm doing is I'm arbitrarily grabbing a minor 3rd from A. You don't even have to think of it that way. I'm just going 3 frets higher and then 1 fret back, okay? That's just going to be my pattern. Then I just add that to every single root note. If I go to the D for 2 bars, and then I can go to the E for 2 bars, or 1 bar and then back to it. And again, that's just an arbitrarily chosen interval right there. We could do something totally different. We could go like a major 3rd. We could do 4 frets higher, and then maybe 1 fret higher than that. Again, it sounds, you know, just kind of random, but you can really apply any kind of formula any way you want to get creative in any of these. You can maybe just kind of like hit like the bass chord and then do like a lick. So really it's kind of like establishing the root of where you are, and then kind of getting creative through the blues just by adding whatever it is that you want, whatever, you know, your style or genre or skill level can attest to. So again, Keb Mo, one of my all-time favorites. Definitely check him out if you haven't heard him. I've seen him live a few times with Taj Mahal, and they always just slay. So yeah, I think it's just worth talking about, because I feel like getting creative within the blues isn't talked about enough. It's more just about like shredding licks inside of like a basic 12 bar, when really, you know, the limitation of having only those 12 bars to work with, or 8 bars, however you want to play it, can be kind of inspiring to open up the fretboard completely. So check that out. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website. Check out the masterclass, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.